Start the meeting. Larry, would you like to lead us in pledge?
Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Too many punctuation marks.
Welcome, everyone. We'll do some roll call here. Jerry Anderson,
Here.
Carol Hunt, Larry Hill,
Present.
Jim Little is excused, Rick Chapiti,
Here.
Bill Duncan, don't know. Oh. Donetta Loomis.
Here.
And Roy Bruckton.
Here.
Commissioner Freeman has other obligations, so he's not going to be here today, so everybody get a chance to look at the minutes.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we had a meeting this last month on the state veterans home and were you in that meeting?
I was.
Okay,
Yes.
I can't remember.
Larry, were you there?
Yeah, you and I were both there.
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you guys wanna tell us a little bit
Go ahead,
about that?
lead off. Carol was there too?
Well, it was very interesting. We also, let's see. Some of the discussion had to do with the correction of the newspaper article in the News Review where they were using that outdated information where we were at a lower level on the federal list. They gave me a handout. They put together a handout
It was ODVA that did that.
and yeah, very nicely done. I mean, they went over, most of the things they talked about were things we already knew about, 35 million and to the side. We got a little more information on that this morning from Commissioner Freeman on once the federal part of it is approved, then the state will sell bonds to pay that 35 million back so it can go back into the general fund.
Wow, okay.
I did not know that part of the process. The director, Hull, pretty much said that this is a state project. He sort of said this is a state project, but the VA will do everything they can to make sure the land transfer happens.
I did not know, excuse me, but Tim said that as they have laid new projects, they have put in bigger pipes with this home in mind all this time.
Really?
So, sounds good.
Yeah, that, I didn't know that either.
Mm.
So when they built the acute mental health building and the drug and alcohol, substance abuse and PTSD, when they brought all the infrastructure underground, conduits and plumbing, it's capped off and it can go right to where the Oregon Veterans Home is gonna go. Let's see.
Wasn't there mention made of a quarterly update?
That's right, that's at the bottom here.
Yeah.
They wanna have a quarterly update meeting with the ODVA, with Douglas County, the VA and VSOs. So that's gonna be in the schedule, that was the last thing. Can you think of anything else?
No, those were the biggies, they really were, especially putting in cement for our status back there with VA, that was very important.
Yeah, we are one, we are
Yeah.
one, not seven.
And Director Hull also indicated at another meeting that he is stepping back from any communication regarding the Veterans Home and it will all come from ODVA.
Oh. Well, that's good.
Yeah, yes, yeah, that is pretty good. So
Yeah.
that was just another little tidbit. It was,
There's another thing that sort of falls into that was that the budget for the VA, and I don't know if the budget for the home comes out of the discretionary funding or not, because the way the $369 billion budget for the VA is set up, they have earmarks, right? But then, so they wanna fund a certain number of, say, veterans' homes. They have 134 billion of discretionary funding. That's where they go in and then approve whatever the project is. And so they have that money is set aside for that. Those are the most current numbers from the VA. So they're gonna have money.
Yes, let's hope.
Huh.
Good. Any other updates from the VA? I did get in the VetNet meeting, there was a comment, I wasn't at the meeting, but I read the notes, and there was a comment that there was a hold on hiring for most positions at the VA. Has anybody else heard that?
Heard that, but then there was an exclusion.
Is there-
I
Medical
heard the
people
exclusion
are-
too.
There's no hold on medical people.
Oh, good.
and also the offer that was made for 15 September, able to retire and everything else. For the federal employees that the president put out, most of the time does not apply to anybody in VA if it have anything to do with healthcare, and they say that 90% of their employees or something like that are involved on the healthcare side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it pretty much obviates the lack of participation there.
Alright, was that a Save Our Roseburg VA report, or was there more to add?
That was
a
that was
meeting
this morning.
Pretty much that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill did remind us that the real focus for that meeting is the healthcare portion and not the home, but the home is definitely a major part of it.
Yes.
I wanted to say I met with the Military Order of the Purple Heart Legislative Affairs, National Legislative Affairs last Monday. They're getting ready to go to Washington in March. And they're collaborating with other veterans groups, and what they're doing is they're putting together strategic planning for their priority goals. And I didn't like what I heard from my organization, because they're more concerned about protecting military medals than they are anything else. They have an agenda because the Purple Heart is owned by a arm of the Military Order of the Purple Heart.
Oh.
The foundation owns that medal. So the bill would be that ownership of all military medals go to the Department of Defense. So they're prioritizing that. So I tried pushing to talk about the dysfunctional community care program and how it affects rural VA healthcare. And then, you know, they listen to me and they all, yeah, but it's not on their agenda. They get 5 to 15 minutes. The national commanders get 5 to 15 minutes before Congress. And one of the lobbyists at the meeting said it's more like 3 minutes. And they said it's the staffers that do all the work. You know, they're the ones you're gonna be dealing with. But I did get a copy of what the VFW priority goals are. And the top of their healthcare goals obviously is to ensure members and veterans receive timely quality health care from the VA. And they wanna reform the dysfunctional community care program. So I like what the VFW is doing.
Nice. Okay, anything else on that aspect from anybody? Alright, move on to DCBF, Carol O'Leary.
Well, go ahead.
We only had
I
like
missed the
5
last meeting,
people
so.
last month for some reason, and we just discussed general, nothing prioritized. And the director wasn't there, so it was just loose.
VetNet meeting, I wasn't able to attend, but I did download their minutes. They have a couple events occurring. They have a trail work hike at Mildred Knight Park on the 15th of February at 10. Source One Serenity, go to their website and you can learn more about that. There is a vet cafe that is their first meeting, I believe, is going to be March 29th. Connection of Community and Camaraderie invites all veterans and their families and communities to support them to come together for a delicious lunch, entertaining stories, and chance to learn more about local veteran resources, benefits, and discounts. This is another Source One Serenity sponsored event. It's gonna be at the Roseburg Library, March 29th. Between 11 and 1, and just go to their website and you can sign up for that. And then Siuslaw Community Stand Down, it's gonna be February 22nd in Florence Elks Lodge between 9 and 1. Those were all the VetNet notes that I have. War Memorial, did we have an update on that
I do.
request?
I have some extra copies of do you want me to go over it?
We put it on, we tabled the item of adding the request for the veteran. So is there more information that you wanna supply or?
I did, when we tabled it, I said I would check with Stephanie Giles with the Genealogy Society. So she gave me a bunch of new information, so I put it in this handout.
Your view on it, would it,
Well, the question before us is, someone came to the commissioners, Terry Rudolph, who said that Mason Burnham was a graduate of Roseburg High School, and he was not recognized as a Vietnam War casualty on a memorial. That's the question. Well, research from the Genealogy Society and all the information that's available says that he did graduate in 1961, but research shows that, that he didn't live in Douglas County prior to that. He was born in Oklahoma, lived in Marion County. The 1950 census shows him there at 7 years old. The 1959 and 60 Roseburg High School yearbooks do not show him as a student before his senior year. Unfortunately, the 1960 census doesn't come out for 73 years after it was taken. So, yeah, I didn't know that, there's a 73-year law.
Wow.
But it appears that he moved here in 1960, a year before he graduated. Then it shows him leaving Douglas County and moving to Lane County, where he married, went to the University of Oregon, graduated, and then entered the service in Portland, the United States Air Force. The Arizona Daily Star reports he was married, divorced, and then remarried. Shows him living with his wife in Tucson at Davis Monthan. Then he went to Vietnam and was shot down over Laos in 72 in an F-4 Phantom. His home of record is Portland, Oregon, on DD 214. His remains were recovered with his dog tags. There were 2 funerals. He's buried in, he is not buried, he's interred at Arlington National Cemetery, but then I think that they had a ceremony, and I don't know that. But there is a grave at Restlawn Memorial Gardens in Salem, Oregon also. And I think I said last month or 2 months ago that he is honored, memorialized at the Courts of the Missing at the National Memorial Cemetery in the Pacific Punch Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And he's listed as an Oregon Vietnam War casualty in the National Archives database. Portland, Oregon listed as his home of record. The Douglas County Memorial Guidelines for eligibility. This is where it gets interesting. Persons serving in the armed forces of the United States of America, both in active and reserve status, and those persons subject to the provisions under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. The deceased or missing in action person must have Douglas County listed as their home of record, or his initial enlistment or commissioning documents. All evidence appears that Mason lived in Douglas County during his senior year of high school, his military enlistment, and geographic history was out, the majority of it was outside of Douglas County. There have been no family members petitioning Douglas County commissioners for consideration of adding Mason to the Douglas County Vietnam War Memorial.
So it sounds like he doesn't qualify to be on our wall.
Not unless there's an exception made, which someone would have to do, petition the commissioner.
Who is Terry Rudolph?
He is a Vietnam veteran, so I think he went to Roseburg High School.
Yes, he did. I graduated behind him.
Okay.
He was ahead of us a couple of years.
Did you know Mason?
I know of him. I went to school with his younger brother.
Yeah,
John.
that's right, his,
Yeah.
John?
John.
Yeah.
John Burnham.
So,
I think the Burnham family moved here when the boys were older. and
Yeah,
they went
oh,
through
yeah,
high school.
definitely.
Or, yeah, I don't know much about Mason, but John was in high school during the time I was there. In the 60s, late 60s.
Long time ago.
Long time.
Yeah, that's right, a long time ago. Believe me.
alright, so we can conclude that he doesn't qualify to be on the memorial wall and that if, unless it's petitioned to the commissioners later date. Correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think that's the proper guidelines, unless we wanna rewrite the guidelines.
No, I don't think so.
Cause then you'll end up getting a number of
Yeah.
exceptions to policy, even if you rewrote them, and there's no need to open that bucket of worms, anyway.
Have you responded back to Terry? Has somebody responded back to Terry?
Not yet.
Oh,
We hadn't
A decision-
concluded yet.
We haven't made
I
a
see,
decision.
okay.
I have seen where, like my high school, Fremont High School, Sunnyvale, California, this summer built a memorial on campus with all the Vietnam War stuff. And just an idea for alumni at the high school here.
May I provide a little comment, and I have, our oldest child attended 1 year, her graduating year, her senior year, at a high school, that she, didn't normally attend. She just decided she wanted to attend that one. We as parents wouldn't expect that the city or the county would be responsible to hold some sort of memorial for that person, you know, that child that only entered that city and that county, that state for just 1 year, their senior year.
Alright, so we can conclude and move on, right? Alright, so any other reports? Donna, did you have anything?
Well, for January, I actually went to Source One Serenity's Pet Cafe, their initial meeting on actually standing it up. So that was on the 31st of January. So it's still in the works, we're still working on the food part of it and whether it's gonna be donated. My responsibility in it is if they find food, then I'm gonna cook it, basically.
Oh,
So that's still in the works, but the date, of course, is set. They also had a vision board on the 10th of January that I set up for, and that kind of was like a soft opening to see how the vet cafe would be received. I've got too many words going around in my head. How it would be received. We had about 7 vets come. We had like 1 or 2 poke their, we did it at the library, 1 or 2 poke their head in the door and ask questions, but they didn't wanna come in. We had coffee set up, refreshments. So they used it actually as a vision board meeting after that. Cause both of their peer support specialists were there.
Am I late?
yes, please have a seat.
Am I late?
Yes, it started at 3.
We'll move, make room for you.
You're welcome.
Well,
Can't get through 2
better late
hours.
than never, I guess.
I actually had a meeting with OSU Extension, working with them on trying to stand up a program for veterans for beekeeping and for gardening. So it would be like a horticultural therapy type environment for the gardening, and beekeeping is just a therapy on itself, basically. But it will give the veterans a chance to come out to learn about those things, to see if that's something that they would be interested in doing. We're looking at maybe trying to start it up in May. We're still working on places to actually have it. I'm actually gonna apply for a grant this week to see if we get money to get equipment and things to get it up and running. So that's something that hopefully we'll get going in the future. They actually do have a Hives for Heroes program, but they don't have a mentor here in this area. So I've reached out to them. I'm still working with them. They're supposed to be trying to find a mentor, but I'm also gonna offer them assistance if they can't find a mentor, so that we could have a mentor in our area. So Douglas County might be the central point for that, if that works out. And I've had a couple calls out to the VA for the women's program that they, wanted to get going, but I have not heard anything, so I'm still working on that part of it.
Is the mentor for the beekeeping?
Yes,
I know a Vietnam veteran that's a beekeeper that lives out on the river. I'll give you his name after.
Awesome.
well, yeah, I'm also a beekeeper, that was
Oh,
kinda
I didn't
saying,
know that.
I was kinda saying I would, but I do want that number, because I need to, get the word out to people who might have interest in it.
Sorry, he might be. Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Bill, you came in a little late. Did you have anything that you would like to share?
Well, I had a
We talked
meeting,
about the state home and the meeting that you guys had this week.
we had one this morning, and that's where I've been this afternoon, trying to reach out to Congressman Vance, Congressman Hoyle, Wyden, Berkeley. Not a lot of success, but I've been on the phone all afternoon trying to regenerate their on how we're gonna go about this. I said at that meeting this morning, I wanted to not lose sight of the fact that the first objective is the hospital issue here. making sure that we get more benefits back. Rick, Carol, been with me through this whole project for the last month or two. Did somebody report on that?
Yes.
So it's a work in progress. I hope to have more. I will be going back to DC in April.
Well,
And I'm trying to make some kind of contact with the new VA. Commissioner Freeman gave me some ideas today to reach out and make sure I got a hold of that. I'll be going there 3 times a year at the new position. So hopefully I'll keep our goals up and they'll quit hearing about Douglas County and give us the money to finish this project.
Yes, that would be great. Excellent. Thank you. Any other reports that I'm missing from anybody?
Oh,
Great
before
update.
it starts, our first meeting is the first Wednesday of March, I think it's the 6th. And we will have reports next time.
Excellent. Mary, I think you're up.
Okay, so first thing on here is quarterly report statistics, but the little handout that I gave is probably better than the quarterly, because it's the year in review. So our office, the awards that came to veterans who use our office was 18 million for the year. And those awards continue on for the life of the veteran, so, and then beyond that, if they have a surviving spouse. So that, try to keep that up. A lot of it's due to the influx from the PACT Act. And, have a wide range of veterans who came to the office because of that, and they're still coming in, so. I expect that that'll probably continue on. The retroactive checks through December, those are where the VA doesn't get the thing done right away, and so you get a lump sum for the amount that they owe you. And that was $6 million, almost $7 million. Those of course don't continue, that's a one-time payment, then that's gone. But then the new claims will fill in that blank. We did 3,400 new claims for veterans and surviving spouses. That's a lot. And surprisingly, only 9 real appeals, not notices of disagreement, not supplemental claims or higher level reviews. These are appeals that go directly to the Board of Veterans Appeals. And that what that indicates is that most of our claims are granted to some extent, and then we just, the ones that we need to argue with, we argue with.
And the ones you argued with, did you win?
Most of the time, well, maybe 75% of the time we do. There's some that are just not gonna win, but the veteran insists that we follow through on it, and we do. We provide all the evidence that we can. So, let's see, another interesting one. The documents that we scan that people bring in, and research that we do to support claims, that was 11,000 documents. Between the 6 of us, 14,000 phone calls, and 32,000 emails. And then the rest is all the outreach and meetings that we go to during the year, so we just keep busy.
Yes, you do. 25,496,090
Wow.
$90 paid directly to veterans. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
My God. Wow.
Kudos to your office. I know you guys work hard.
That's all new.
Yes.
The new claims was 18 million.
That doesn't count what's already been done.
Doesn't count your claim. Doesn't count your claim.
I know.
Thank God.
Doesn't
That's why
count
it's
Jerry's or
incredible.
Donetta's.
Does it count mine?
Bill's, doesn't count Bill's, no. These are just
I got a check.
new people and requests for increases. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
It'd be interesting if you could ever get a AI report on how much does come to the county?
Well, the VA puts out
Yes.
statistics like
Oh,
that.
they do?
This came from our database where the awards are input by ODVA. So I was saying to Tammy that that's always a lower amount than there really is, because the Pension Management Center, either in Philadelphia or St. Paul, they don't provide those statistics to ODVA. So this doesn't include the amounts recovered for pension or for dependency compensation for service-connected survivors, service-connected deaths for survivors. So that's got to be at least another million, probably conservatively, so.
I'm a recipient, they do good work.
Did you have anything else, Mary?
Just the outreach, Reed Sport still goes on. It's definitely the second Tuesday, and then if there's a lot of people who need help over there, then we add the fourth Tuesday. Becky attends the VetNet meetings for us. We do Oregon County and Tribal Veteran Service Officer meetings at least twice a month. One of them is an e-board meeting, and the other one is a training meeting where ODVA gives us information about things that are new, that are happening. And then there's a Oregon County Veteran Service Officer, Tribal Veteran Service Officer training that our association puts on once a month also. So those are pretty valuable to us. And then that's all I have.
Excellent.
Mary, I have a question just to solidify something I've been involved in now. How many veteran service organizations do you know have their own VSOs in the state of Oregon? Is there that many of them?
No. PVA, Paralyzed Veterans of America, has one. VFW has one up in the regional office, the VA regional office. DAV is supposed to have one, but they're never there. I don't know where they are. American Legion has one up there. And NABVETS, National Association of Black Veterans, they have office up there also.
I didn't see
That's it.
The need is, I got confronted by again this last week, and I said that Vietnam veterans has nobody qualified, nor like the training it would take and how long it would take to get a certified VSO in place. So I told him we would not be pursuing a VSO position through our position, our 9 chapters throughout the state. And I still stand by that because I know what you do, and I hear other stories about people getting lost in the mix-up. So it's interesting to know how many we actually have in the state of Oregon.
Yeah.
Those are the only offices that are up there at the VA regional office, where they have, they used to call them national service officers, but now they call them state service officers.
I think the need for a VSO in Oregon, because does all of our counties have a VSO office?
All of them do, but some of them are combined with other counties, like where there's really low really low overall populations. They'll contract with each other to have one veteran service officer handle all of the 3 counties. And then so they go to those counties certain days of the week. But with that type of coverage also, then every county has one at least.
When I'm confronted by it, your name comes up as the #1 person to deal with, so I applaud you for what you've done for all these years. That's up to and including me. And I don't see any need for our organization to get into the VSO business in the state of Oregon at this time. I don't see where that would be a benefit to you to take on some raw rookie that you maybe had to communicate with at the same time.
Well, they wouldn't be in our office, they would be up in Portland
Yeah.
at the regional office. And then,
That's where the ones come from, most of them are in that populated area.
and then they would,
Good question.
If-
Wow.
if veterans signed up with them, then they need to keep in communication all over the state.
Well, all the questions I have come from you know who, so it's a very negative spot for me. I totally know my feelings are in my position. I'm just saying no. Don't like to get into it.
Makes sense.
Who's asking the question?
You cover Douglas County very well.
I don't know.
Okay.
You guys got your hands full already, so you don't need any more work, right?
That's for sure.
Well, thank you, Mary. Did you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Did I see DACVSO Leadership Summit? Is that something that we need to talk about?
Oh, yes, that is coming up in April, and that's the one that I went to last year, where our state organization paid for me to go to that one. This year, I'm the secretary of the National Association, so they're paying my way, which is great because then our organization doesn't have to pay for it and they can send somebody else in addition to me. But that was such a positive experience. Well, I was dead tired because I had to walk all over Washington DC for a full day going back and forth from congressional buildings for appointments, back and forth. And but it was worth it. So, and then the rest of it is we are spoken to by the head of the VA or the head of the organizations that are contracted with the VA to do CMP exams. Those people came and spoke, and so we got a chance to question them about some of their practices and, you know, why they are sending people from down here up to Vancouver for appointments and those kinds of things. So so we get good contact information from them. Secretary of the VA spoke, the two of the undersecretaries spoke, and took all of our comments and questions and actually acted on them. So, so there is some good news also is the congressional session, the last congressional session passed the CVSO Act. So next year, there's gonna be teeth in the law to go after those organizations who are charging veterans to do claims. They're not gonna be allowed to do them. So that was one part of it. Then one of the CVSOs she's from Michigan, kind of got a bill sponsored called Gerald's Law. So, you know, at the veterans who are on hospice sometimes would rather be at home than in any facility. And so when that used to happen, that if they weren't getting compensation or pension from the VA, then if a veteran dies in a VA hospital, they get some monetary burial benefits. But if they don't, and they don't have compensation or pension, they don't get anything. Well, this law fixes that because that veteran's actually saving the VA a lot of money by not being cared for in the VA facility. So that's gonna take care of that. So anyway, that was, there were a lot of little bills that were tacked on to the VA and defense packages that are really good for veterans. So.
Here. And then we have our upcoming event is Memorial Day.
We are working on that.
Alrighty.
Any good to the order?
Yeah, Kara Coughlin our great patient advocate who used to come to the forum meetings all the time, quit.
Oh,
She and her
Retired.
husband
really?
are going to travel around the country
Yeah.
for 2 years and not work.
That sounds good to me.
That's nice, that's a nice early
Have a couple
retirement
years
for
before
her,
I do
yeah.
that.
We did 11.
I do have one thing, madam. This is something that pops up in my head about every 6 months, and then it sort of dies, cause when you mention it, there's crickets. Okay. Is the vet center up at the college. Jim and I started that, helping it get off the seat. Ann is the go-to lady up there, but I keep hearing that it's going good, and I hear, well, they need equipment, well, it's not too good. We just haven't made a visit up there to see, but I think it's high time that instead of crickets, a few of us get
Good
off our
idea.
duff and go up there and see what they're doing, cause I have a real vested interest in that project, I really do.
Yeah,
I don't, how many veterans do we have going to school up there this time?
wow.
I think 77 or something.
Yeah, probably close to 100.
Okay, yeah, so there is a need for that facility.
And they are coming to help me though every month.
Yeah, they show up for you,
Yeah.
down there. But I'd like to see us get back on track with that, that's just a
I'm sure
personal,
they would
personal-
welcome a visit.
I'm sure they would, so we're gonna have to gin something up here with one of our groups and go up there again.
Yeah,
But, you
good
know,
idea.
We should really do it, 'cause
You wanna head that up?
might as well,
All right.
Sure.
yeah, might as well. Yeah, that's
Excellent.
one of my things, yeah.
Job.
Yeah, it started off with what, 2 computers, I think? Wasn't there something like that? We got a couple of computers in there, a coffee pot.
That was it.
That was all, yeah, that was all when we started. Yeah. I don't know how many years ago it was, but it was quite a while back.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Okay, I'll accept your, no problem, happy to do it, all right?
Good idea.
Yeah, happy to do it.
You can solicit other members to help.
I will, they've just volunteered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other good to the order?
Larry reminded Carol and I, next Thursday is the quarterly remembrance service
Yeah.
at the VA National Cemetery. Is
And
that
that is pulled
1300 and
together.
1 o'clock?
We're ready.
Excellent. Jamie, anything else? That being said. Adjourn.